So first of all, before we get the day going, I want to thank all of our sponsors. So Integro Technology and Systems, if you're looking for any off the grid for your business, or if your home wants to get off the grid with solar panels, anything you need, you have to contact them. Then Seaway Clothing for supplying us and protecting us from the sun. Canvas and More for capturing all those memories, even if it's a wedding or a baby shoot, any of your fishing adventures. In the description, I came fresh off my tuna episode where they made me a beautiful canvas of my tuna. And then we've got Decro Paints, so for any painting supplies that you need, you have to contact Decro Paints. So this journey would not be possible without those sponsors, so thank you once again. And if you guys want to support proudly South African companies, all 4 of these companies are proudly South African, made all of their products made in South Africa, so go and support them. Thank you so much to all of our sponsors. Hi there guys, and welcome to another Blowdome adventure. So today I'm joined here by Bertus, and we're gonna have a little bit of an overlook of our Mozambique adventure that we had. An epic, absolute epic adventure, fishing trip of a lifetime. So before we start, the 10th to the 17th of November, we are going back to Mozambique, and we've got a couple of spots open that we are going to go on an adventure again. So if you want to join us, here's my number, and my number is in the description as well. Let me know if you want to join us. This trip will include 7 days, 7 nights. It's all inclusive, so it's 3 days of fishing off the boat, it's 3 days of fishing off the beach, 3 meals a day, the brilliant accommodation at Bamuji's place, or Benji's place, how they call it in Mozambique. The only thing that's not included is your drinks. Yes. Your alcohol drinks. That's the only thing that's not included. Other than that, you can go snorkel in the reserve. You've got the quad bikes, you've got the Santa Maria, you've got the Pansy Walk that you can go on. There's so many other stuff. So if you want to take your whole family there for a nice little breakaway before December holidays, this is definitely the fishing trip of a lifetime. Okay guys, so on today's episode we're going to have a look back at some of the highlights of our Mozambique trip. And I've got Bertus here. He's the expert in GT fishing. He's fished all over the world for GTs. So yeah, and obviously Bertus, Benji's place, in Yaka, Hell's Gate, one of your favorite spots in the world.
Without a doubt. I think we spoke about the history there in the previous episode, but just to recap a little bit, Hell's Gate lends itself perfectly to GT fishing. You get GTs all along the Mozambican coast, but Hell's Gate's quite special in a sense that you've got a very deep channel that separates Inyaka Island, like you saw, from the mainland Santa Maria. It's about 14 meters deep, and it's got a lot of current. Now for GTs, they want that current, they want the structure and the bait fish. We mentioned it a couple of times before, but that's the vital 3 points to look at with a GT fishing. And we've caught some big GTs over the years at Hell's Gate, like you will see in the pics now, but I think my history there spans to around about 2005, around about there. That's where I met Benji and guided there, and we had a lot of good success, specifically for GTs. But I have to add as well that, you know, Mozambique is synonymous with GTs, but you've got such a wide variety of species to target there. And just on the lodge itself now, Benji's place is about 5-6 years old now, and it's very easy for anybody that wants to go to Mozambique to look at Benji's place as a good option, because it's close to South Africa. You've got you can travel there by car or by plane. The lodge has got a brilliant transfer boat that they bought a few months ago.
Yeah, and that's actually what happened in episode 1. When we went there, is it's a 2-hour flight from Cape Town, an affordable flight, and it's a 1-hour flight from Joburg.
Yes.
And also if you're from the Durban side, it's quite easy to drive there. So it's really accessible to anybody. For the Western Cape guys, we got out on the plane 7 o'clock, 9 o'clock landed in Maputo. Then we were picked up by the transport at the airport. From the airport, it was about a half an hour drive.
Depending on traffic.
Depending on traffic. And then it was about a half an hour drive to Maputo Harbour. Yes. From there, Benji's people picked us up. What was his name? Marcelo picked us up. Yes, Marcelo picked us up at the harbour. It was an hour boat trip to Inyaka, to the lodge, to the island. And within 4 hours we were fishing.
Yep.
That's how easy it was. From Cape Town, within 4 hours we were fishing. So that's how easy it was. And all this transfers is also included. Your plane tickets are included, but your transfers is included in the package that we're giving out. So it is really that simple. You get on a plane, as soon as you put your feet on Mozambique ground, Bemji's people sort you out. They pick you up from the airport, they pick you up from the harbor, you get dropped off, and your drinks are waiting already. When you step foot at Bemji's place, there was drinks already waiting, and we had a starter there, calamari and Portuguese chicken, and from the previous day's catches. You've got sashimi, you've got sushi. The food is absolutely spectacular. So whether you get there and you quickly want to jump in the pool, or you want to go fishing quickly, have a quick session off the beach, everything is already sorted out. And I thought, okay, yeah, it was a big, we have to carry our own bags. Yes, the bags were at our rooms already. When we got to our rooms, the bags were already there in our rooms. You just had to unpack. But I promise you, if you ask them, they'll even unpack for you there. So yeah, then we went straight into the fishing, and that was amazing to see how easily the traveling was and how quickly you can get there and just start fishing. When you get there, you can just start fishing, rig up and go fishing. So that was actually,
yeah, that's a big plus. And also, you know, for guys living up there that wants to drive, I mean, the lodge is accessible through either Cozy Bay border or the Martipoort border post. So it's about, you can get to the lodge from Maputo if you want to drive. It's about a 4-hour drive, but the drive through the Cozy Bay border, it takes about 4 or 5 hours. It's a nice scenic drive through the elephant reserve. But flying obviously is a lot quicker, and yeah, it's accessible from both Maputo and Cozy Bay side. So the proximity to South Africa, and also, you know, Bemji's been in the industry for such a long time, and he knows what to look for, he knows what to cater for, and he knows what the pitfalls are. So that's why I think everything just works so well. The machine's a well-oiled machine. Yeah, it's a well-oiled machine.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about the fishing, because fishing is always weather dependent. But what I enjoyed about the whole setup there is, no matter what the weather are, you can fish.
Yeah.
Because if you've got the southwest blowing, there's certain spots that you can go fish. If you've got the southeast blowing, there's other spots that you can fish. If the ocean is not flat enough, if the surf and the swell is a little bit too big, there's always shark fishing. There's shore fishing, there's shark fishing, there's trolling, there's popping, there's jigging, there's drop shotting. So it really caters for everybody. And like I said, even if you want to take your family there, for the kids, there's always something to do for the kids as well. Even if they just want to hang around by the pool, or if they want to do walk on the beach, there's that
look, there's stand-up paddleboard,
there's kayaks,
there's the wreck walks, there's the scenic safari walks that they do.
Safari walks, there's the village.
So there's a lot to do for the...
Oh, and of course the cross.
Yes.
There's the cross as well. You can go up to the cross. A beautiful spot that overlooks the whole Santa Maria. It's a beautiful spot there up at the cross.
Yeah.
So let's dig a little bit into the fishing now. So the first type of fishing that we did was off the shore, off Inyaka side. That was the first real fishing that we did. And Paul from Cloners, he managed to catch that, what was it, a pick-handle barracuda? The pick-handle barracuda that he caught. But that is normally of that's what you've caught some monster GTs off Inyaka Island. That's fishing in Hell's Gate basically. Yes. Oh, not Hell's Gate, Dragon's Back. That's fishing in Dragon's Back.
We've come to call it the Dragon's Back just because it looks like a Dragon's Back. But and that brings in the current into the whole equation again. You've got a shallow sandbank there, and with that amount of current going over the sandbank, that's where the GTs thrive. But there's a slight caveat that I want to bring into this, and this is why you have to book at Bemji's place, because fishing with Bemji is going to be an experience of a lifetime, because local knowledge is something that takes a lot of years to learn. And Bemji, being from Inyaka, growing up there, fishing his whole life, nobody knows the area better.
No.
There's
probably one guy, you.
No, far from. But with Bemji, it is, I think, definitely somebody that's a legend in the fishing in Mozambique. So to fish with him is going to be the best chance for you to catch that fish of a lifetime, because the fishing at Hell's Gate's not easy. it took us many years and a lot of blood, sweat and tears to figure out what to do at what time, when which wind's blowing, for example. So you can go there and flog the water for a week and won't catch anything.
Fish of 1,000 costs.
Yep. But to know exactly when to focus, under what conditions, and then obviously setting you up for that big hit, and getting to the GTs like you mentioned now, there's no feeling on this green earth that'll give you the rush and the knee knocking adrenaline that a big GT behind your lure gives you. So just to experience that. And I have to add, Yandre, when we went, we didn't really go, our dates were
I just wanted to touch a little bit on that. So we were hoping for some big GTs, but it was actually the end of the GT season.
Yeah.
So we were hoping for GTs, and we did catch one GT, but we were transitioning into the winter fish. So when you talk about the winter fish, you're more looking at your sailfish, your marlins, that type of fishing.
Yeah,
so
you get your big crocodile kuta coming through,
yes.
A lot of wahoo, a lot of tuna. So winter fishing, we shift a little bit more offshore, and that's why for the game fishermen it's an ideal paradise, because also the reefs that we fish, it's in close proximity to the launch as well. You know, it's not like you do a 2-hour run to a reef or something like that. So we've got a lot of water to cover, and also the GT specifically in winter, they move a little bit deeper and more towards the reefs.
So that's actually important that you take part, or you book your ticket now to go, because the time that they pick, the 10th to the 17th of October, it's a spring tide.
Yeah.
It's over spring tide. We're going over spring tide, and it's the most important thing, that you want to go there when there's a lot of current, and the spring tide creates that current. And it is just October, the GT starts coming in again. So it's into the space. It's not the beginning of the season, it's that first part of the season. It's the best spring in the first part of the season. So this is going to be a big adventure.
It is. The chances
That's why we booked that spot.
Yeah, the chances are good, because you've got your winter fisheries basically running from late April, May towards October, September, October, and then we start getting the more active fish going into Hell's Gate, and your chances are better of booking a GT from the side there then. But yeah, your trip now, I think that's a very good chance of a few big GTs now.
And we're also going on the back of the Dow Race. So if you can maybe just talk a little bit more about the Dow Race. It is a massive event. It's grown over the years. The Dow Race has grown massively over the last couple of years. It's an initiative from Benji that he started. It's for the community. So Pat, it's just, what is the Dow Race about?
Yeah, it started about 4 years ago, where Benji had this idea, to host an event that really uplifts the community in the area there, because Mozambique, being a country where it's been war-torn and the economy is struggling, and people are struggling in general, so the Santa Maria community is quite close-knit. And Benji started the first Dow Race with only a few dhows. That's the local sailboats that they bring in. They get prizes for all the dhows, who wins the Dow Race. I think last year was an outboard motor.
That was an outboard motor that was sponsored.
So it grew year upon year now, and I think last year was 37 dhows that they had as entries there. But also it's focused a lot around the kids, a lot of activities for everybody there that day. So if anybody wants to get involved in sponsoring a Dow sale, or sponsoring something in the Dow Race,
any prizes or anything, I'm going to put Heta's number up here. So contact Heta, or you can contact me. And if you are looking to get involved in the community in Mozambique, it's a great opportunity. We are trying to get Blowdown over there to cover the event again. So you at least get mileage from YouTube and Facebook and Instagram. And Benji's also got a nice Facebook page. Go check that out. So yeah, that's it. We're trying to really uplift the community.
Yeah, 100%. And then just getting back to the fishing side, Andre, now is, say that you're looking at dates where it's not coinciding with the spring tides, which is obviously the ideal tide to go and target GTs, but There's a few techniques that we use over knee tides as well that's been very successful over the years. So my point is that either knee or spring tides, the chances will be good for you to have some proper fishing in. So I think your trip's gonna be something to look forward to, and also just because our trip didn't coincide with the perfect GT times, now we're already planning the first proper GT trip that we're going to focus on getting a big GT for you, Andre. I think we spoke about February.
We're trying to organize to go back February again.
Which is a good month.
Yes.
So February, March is always.
We actually wanted to go in February, but we couldn't get everything arranged quickly enough to go in February. So we actually wanted to go in February. Bert is looking at episode 2, 3 and 4. I mean, there was a couple of amazing fish that was caught. Fish that came to mind was definitely that kuta that smashed the lure out of the water. That was absolutely amazing to see that, and that's the power and the speed of these fish that you're chasing there. So yeah, that was absolutely amazing, and we were all actually looking, and luckily we had the camera on to capture that moment where that fish just smashed your popper out of the water.
Yeah, that food chain's quite fast there. So, but again, Andre, it's something. It was your first experience for us, and not to be too blasé about it, but it's something we see so often there because the fishing is so good. So I'd prefer a 30 kilo GT behind that, but we'll take what we can get. And I think I want to actually touch a little bit on a fish that really stood out, and that was your rainbow runner on Dropshot.
Oh geez, that was nice. Like I've said before, I really enjoyed the Dropshot. There's a couple of different facets of fishing, and you have to be a special creature to do what Benji and Bertus does all day long, throwing the poppers and those deep jigging for the amberjacks. You have to be a special character to do the Benji bounce, and Bertus got his own technique. But yeah, the soft plastics I really enjoyed, and we did the episode where we explained all of this what we're talking about now. We explained a lot about Mozambique fishing, popping, jigging. Me and Benji went into the soft plastics, me and you went into all the other type of fishing, your popping, your jigging, your stick baits and all that kind of stuff. But I enjoyed, so that fish really stood out for me. That rainbow runner.
You weren't really that keen on grabbing the popping rod.
No, I wasn't that keen. I wasn't that keen. I enjoyed the soft plastics.
But you're not the only one, because you know, with bit of guiding history there with clients and that, it's something that everybody gravitates towards because it's so easy to do, and everybody's got their own little style and technique that they bring in, and the species count and also just size. You can catch a big GT on Dropshot. It's not just limited to small fish.
Well, I did manage to catch the only GT of the trip on a Dropshot. So yes, but when I go back, I really want to try, and I was on this trip. I wanted to catch as many fish as possible. You wanted to catch the monsters. So if you're targeting, and that's something in general fishing, if you're targeting species, if you throw a bait in the water and you're targeting multiple species, the chances of landing that dream fish, it's always there, but it's not that big. If you're targeting a big cob or you put out that big bait, you put out the big hooks, then you're gonna catch a bigger cob. So if you keep on targeting the big fish, eventually you will catch it. I was there to catch as many fish as possible. If I hook into a monster, yes, then
which you did. You actually did very well on the Dropshot. That's always been very consistent in getting species, and also just the consistency in getting bites, because that's I think it's vital to add as well that the way that we fish, especially offshore as well, is very structured. You know exactly at what tide, what to do, under what conditions, and you know, instead of going there and finding reefs and not really knowing exactly what to do, which color to use, or you know, which weight to use, I think everything's down to a very, very fine art now, where, for example, I mean, we normally, when we go on a popping and jigging trip, it always starts with popping, because you want that current early morning, low light, and also as soon as the current dies down, then we spend some time on the deeper reefs for the greater ambers, because you get the lesser and the greater ambers there, and then we focus a lot on the different reefs, especially on Dropshot, but light jigging. It's also a facet that's been doing very well. Obviously something we only do outside of the reserve, but the Dropshot is highly effective from shore as well as the boat.
But I mean, on the little spoons and on the lighter jigs, Benji and Paul had a lot of success with the big bonnies and the big tunas.
And the lesser amberjack.
And the lesser amberjacks, so tropical yellowtails.
Yeah.
We caught we was at one stage we caught 3 of them, and we had a triple up.
Yep.
And it was so cool to see the triple up with the triple up release, because we really try and look after the fish there as well. It's not just about catching the fish and trying to catch as many fish and taking all the fish. We really try and look after the fish
Yep.
there as well. So we'll take what we need for food and
For the lodge, yes.
for the lodge, but the rest gets
But mainly pelagic. So
mainly pelagics, fast growing fish.
Yeah.
So yeah, on the drop shot I was able to catch a rainbow runner, a wahoo, a kuta,
Bonnie.
GT, bonnies, and a
Swallowtail.
fish. I just wanted to mention the swallowtail. That
Beautiful.
is an absolutely beautiful fish. There's so many species that I didn't even know. There was, what's the other one, the flute, or what's that?
the trumpet fish.
The trumpet fish, yes. We managed to catch and I even managed to dive down, and on one of the dives I got one of those on camera as well.
Yeah.
The trumpet fish. So that's also the snorkeling. Oh, crystal clear water, fisherman's paradise to see those fish underwater.
It
so
was
that's beautiful.
It was nice seeing your underwater footage, because it just showed how healthy the reefs still are there, and if it's something that we've always been very passionate about is conservation and looking after the reefs. And I think with your footage that you filmed under the water there, it just gave us an idea of exactly what's going on. We always just see above surface, but
Yeah.
what's going on below. So no, and I enjoyed that. And then from the side we weren't really that focused or successful. We got a few fish from the side, but
no, but I mean, we spent more time on the boat, and then always in the evenings he's got a little party trick. Benji's got this little party trick that he does. We're not going to explain all the techniques that he uses, but they've got a system where they drop the bait and the bait gets taken out by the current, and 10-15 minutes and you're hooked on, and that can be anything.
no, that is. So it's a little bit of a secret IP.
That's what I'm
there,
saying.
but
I'm not
that's why
going to
you have
say
book.
exactly.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say exactly. But if that is your type of fishing, you get clipped into the harness and you get that rod clipped in. And when that thing took, we had 3 or 4 pickups, but we just didn't set on any of them. So, but I mean, it's literally 10-15 minutes that you're standing there and it's on.
No, summer season, and also we've caught big GTs.
And that's what I'm saying. You never know what you're going to get.
You never know, but it is highly effective. And also, you mentioned party trick, but it's something that every single client and every single person that did it enjoyed, because it's such a nice way to end the day.
Yeah.
Everybody gets a turn and head back to the lodge, and we have.
Oh, we actually lost that one shark right in the surf.
Yes, yeah,
we had
it
him
was quite
on.
close,
We was on, and he swam around the reef, and
Yeah.
I could feel it on the line.
Yeah, you did well in getting it off, because it was quite stuck. But
Yeah.
that's also the dangers of fishing that point, because either
And
shark-
that is on Santa Maria side.
yeah,
it's
Santa,
not in Yaka side.
the mainland side. In Yaka side, there's no rock there, but so your chances of landing a big GT there is a little bit better. But it's a little bit of a different focus point there. But your mainland point, you get a lot of pickups there, but your landing rate's not that
No.
good because of the rock. So, and also that brings in a little bit of the experience, I think, where we know exactly the structure, what it looks like, and where to focus on. But yeah, we've landed big fish over the years there. Some of them monsters that we couldn't stop. And I'm talking about fishing 100-pound straight braid. So it's there's been a
No, it's proper setup. You're clipped in.
no, it's a few machines. You have to hold on, otherwise
Yeah.
you get towed in. But I think that just adds to the value of going there, because if you either enjoy land-based fishing, bait fishing, live bait fishing, lure casting, and then also the offshore side of it, I think Hell's Gate caters to every single facet of angling.
Definitely,
So,
definitely.
And also, we get to access some places that's not fished at all. So I think that's something that adds to the whole what's the right word now?
Experience.
Enigma of it as well. So and then just on the lodge itself, I think you saw the food. The food is brilliant.
Food was absolutely spectacular.
It was, and then I think we're standing at 17 rooms now already, and caters for everything from corporate groups, weddings,
No, there was actually a wedding while we were there. There
Yes,
was
yeah.
a wedding on the beach bar.
Yeah,
At
one
the
of
beach
the
bar, there was a
most
wedding.
scenic and stunning
Oh,
wedding settings.
beautiful, beautiful.
So, and then also just family holidays. You know, you don't need to be a fisherman. It's not limited to just being a fishing lodge.
I actually enjoyed the last day when we didn't go fishing, and me and Paul went over to
Are
the
you on your own there?
To the Pansy. Yeah, you went and you caught another small GT.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Yeah, so me and Paul went over with the boat. They took us, Marcella took us over to the Pansy Walk. And I'm not talking about South African pansies, I'm talking about plates of pansies that you can find there. It is beautiful to go on the Pansy Walk, and then we went for the snorkel in the reserve.
And the snorkeling is something that's very, very special,
Yeah.
because it's inside the marine reserve there, so you see a lot of species. If you're lucky, you see a few big GTs, but very safe. They've got, and I think we must just touch on the boat here, Andre. It's Balaya.
yeah.
Balaya is the snorkeling barge that they specifically have for the snorkeling, where they stay behind the snorkelers the whole time, just you know, for
In the
safety
current.
in the current. So because you're just drifting with the current now.
And they also do that on spring or on high tide when the currents are the least. They don't go in the middle of nowhere when the currents are pumping.
Yes.
They go on because then also the water's a little bit higher and the blue water pushes in from the ocean side. So the snorkeling is a specific time of day that the cleaner water starts pushing in from the ocean side on high tide, and then you've got that 1-2 hours where the current's not that strong, so they try and keep it as safe as possible for the snorkelers.
Yes, so the snorkeling, very safe for kids, stunning experience. And then they've got the two big 32 foot Yamaha holes, Inga and Rafaela,
Yep.
which is more set up for the game fishing. Umfana, which we fished
We
off,
fished off in Fana.
a 21
Beautiful
foot
boat.
center console, and then Bemji just bought a 24 foot
Sailfish
Nova
walk
Cat
around.
sailfish.
Walk around.
Stunning
Yeah,
boat.
beautiful
and,
boat.
and then we've got Carvalho, which is a little banana boat that we use for just transfers to Nyaka and fishing in the channel itself.
But they've also got the boat from the transfers from Maputo.
Correct, yeah. I mean, the transfer boat is a closed cabin,
Yes.
a very comfortable ride over the bay, because you've got about 30 kilometers of open ocean from Maputo to the lodge, over the bay of Maputo, and it can be quite wet if you're in an open boat. But yeah, no, the transfer boat, Cereline, it's definitely very comfortable for anybody to cross the bay. So
Yes.
yeah, I think we're looking forward to the summer season now.
Oh, can't wait.
It's going to be something special to go there now. I'm heading back in October, and I think you're heading back in November now.
Yes.
So hopefully there's a big GT with your name on it.
I hope so. Yeah, and then like I said, the last day we went to the village and we had one of the Dosh M's. We had a Dosh M. If you go to Mozambique, you have to have a Dosh M. If you don't know what a Dosh M is, go and experience it. And then Benji also took me up with a quad bike to the cross. And then he also took us down to the wreck.
Yeah.
So there's plenty of stuff to do around Santa Maria, even if you don't want to fish, or if you want to take your family. Like I've said, if you want to take your family there, you want to go fish all day, they'll be catered for at the pool. They can just relax at the pool.
Yep.
Or there's plenty of stuff for them to do on all the kayaks and the paddle boards and everything. So
Yeah, the activities are plenty, and also, which I forgot to mention now, is the campsites.
Oh, yeah.
For all the campers that likes to
yes.
go, it's you can drive straight into the campsite.
There was
lovely
actually a lot of South Africans there
Yes,
camping.
yeah.
When we were there,
Yeah.
they had their little camper vans, those 4x4 campers, and they parked there, and they just spent a week or two there just camping there.
Yeah.
So that's also a possibility, and even those facilities are top notch.
Yes, so I think it caters to everybody. So if you're looking at going to Mozambique, I think it's worthwhile considering Bemzi's place.
Definitely. Okay guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We've got loads of exciting episodes coming up. It is the summer season in South Africa. We've got the brand new Garmin UHD Echo Map. I'm going to be testing that thing. I already made a short experience when we went out at Neisner, seeing those schools of grunters lying there. We are going to be targeting cop on Dropshot. We're going to be targeting the summer species. It's going to be the bronzies. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel, leave a little comment, and contact me if you want to go to Mozambique. See you in the next episode.